Did you make sure they were facing the right way when you set them down? Yes, of course. Everything's as the list says. Thanks. Genji-sama, the guest rooms are ready now. Good work. Make sure you check over everything with your own eyes, Shannon. Also, Madam has ordered us to change the tablecloth in the dining hall again. My, why again? When we all worked so hard to change it earlier today. The color of that tablecloth simply doesn't fit. Once I saw it against the backdrop of the room, I could see that it matched terribly. We should use a different tablecloth. Oh, and did you make sure to clean the chandelier in the parlor? I don't want Ava-san looking up and saying, "Oh, is that dust?" And even a spider web again. Do not worry. It has already been carefully cleaned and checked. I will now perform a final check on everything myself. Is that so? Very well. I will also check over everything at the very end. Shannon, take the younger servants and prepare a new tablecloth. Try to find something white, with a bit more of a clean feeling. Yes, as you wish. Natsui was even more high-strung than normal, and walked about barking orders here and there. Even though the sky was beginning to get dark, the servants moved hurriedly about. Tomorrow is the annual family conference. It isn't particularly rare for each individual of the families to visit the island, but this is the only time that they all come together. It was the most important day of the year for both the Ushiromi family and Rakenjima. Natsui was short-tempered on top of being high-strung, kept ordering that the servants redo this or that since it really didn't look good after all, and she's a bitch. This would keep them from going until late into the night. Now that Shannon had many years of experience and Natsui had put her in a position of responsibility, she was called over many times to have strict orders showered on her. So, when Shannon finished her shower and lay down on the bed in the servant room, she fell asleep almost immediately. I can hear the sound of wind coming from somewhere far away. It's a bit different from the sound a wind outside a room would make. It's almost as though I'm sitting in a deck chair in the rose garden, turning over in my sleep with the feel of the wind in my hair. That's right, the feel. This isn't a sound. It's a feeling. Then is this a dream? Just as I was about to accept this theory, I thought I heard someone talking to me. It seems the work of a servant is just as boring as it ever was. Not only boring, but difficult, strict, constraining, joyless. All you get in return for your years of service is some level of respect from the newer servants, and even that is far from sufficient to repay you for all the hard work you've done. Why do you not tire of this life? Huh? Who? She was just imagining someone talking to her. She was shocked to find that it was real. When Shannon opened her eyes, she gulped. Oh, it's Yunyun. This place. She couldn't say any more. The denpo was too much. She was literally stunned silent. Shannon, who had been sleeping on a bed, was somehow in a rose garden. However, though this rose garden somehow resembled the rose garden Rakenjima, it was also completely different. After all, the roses were golden, and it wasn't just the flowers but the dancing butterflies, too. It was a golden rose garden of mysterious beauty. Somehow Shannon was sitting in a chair under the arbor. It was as though she had taken a nap there and woken up in a dream, but it felt strange. Is this golden rose garden a dream? For some strange reason, it felt as though my entire life up to this point had been a dream, and that I had finally awakened here. Welcome, Shannon. Welcome to my golden rose garden. There was that voice again. Shannon looked around to find who it was. As she did, a golden butterfly landed on the seat across from her and instantly created a human form. It has been quite some time, Shannon. Have you been well? Of course, I know you have been. After all, I have been watching all of you. every day. This woman laughed as though she was an old friend of Shannon's. However, Shannon obviously didn't remember this strange gold rose garden, and she didn't remember this person's face either. Indeed, you no longer remember me, do you? Have I forgotten about you? If so, please forgive me. There is no need to apologize. I made you that way, so it is no sin of yours. Let me introduce myself. I am the Golden Witch Beatrice. But Beatrice, Sama? The benefactor of the Ushiromiya family, whom the master always speaks of. Not that Beatrice. I am the Golden Witch, the one who rules over Rakanjima's night. I am the other master of the mansion, the one you always pay homage to. You are Beatrice, Sama? You need not fear. The two of us used to be friends, no roommates, did we not? At one time, I idolized you and tried to be the best servant I could. I've always had a single-person room, so I couldn't have had a... When we last parted, I stole away your memory. However, I have not forgotten that we were once roommates. I also remember that I was the one who destroyed our friendship and left. So as to not leave you alone in sadness, I erased all of your memories in the very world of our days together. I don't know, I don't agree with that, Mewtwo. You don't need to erase people's memory. Shocked Pikachu face. You do not need to understand. But believe this, I have not called you here to do you harm. Isn't this inside of one of my dreams? You may think of it that way. Strictly speaking, I beckoned your soul to the garden while you were sleeping. To invite you to be a resident of this world. Beatrice snapped her fingers, and a storm of gold butterflies all rose up around the rose garden. As the cloud of gold butterflies danced over the table, a gorgeous tea set appeared. There were teacups and a teapot, more elegant even than those used by the Ushiromiya family. The tea was filled to the brim and had a sweet rose scent, one which Shannon had never smelled before. Before there was even time to be amazed by that scent, butterflies started gathering one by one on the table, and a tea stand sprouted right out of it. And it was like watching a magical mushroom from a fairy tale kingdom grow out of the ground. It was a many-layered tea stand filled with beautiful cakes like edible jewels. Of course, there were also several lovely light brown scones. The honey truly was golden honey, with bits of gold leaf dancing through it. It seems the Ushiromiya family holds tea parties from time to time, but those cannot compare to mine. Incredible! I've never seen anything like this. Even if you did, it would only have been as a waitress. You are my friend. I need no waitress. After all, I am a witch. That is more than enough. Come, do not be shy. Stuff yourself to your heart's content. Thank you very much. That was all Shannon managed to say. It would be hard for anyone to say much more after being suddenly invited to such a beautiful witch tea party. Let us begin with the black tea.